In this video, I'm going to be using Hardcore Carnivore Camo, and this is going to help season a venison summer sausage. This camo seasoning smells so good. Smells of hickory, garlic, coriander, onion powder, and a little bit of honey. You got to check out their website for their products because this stuff here, it's phenomenal. It's a match made in heaven for me because, well, if you haven't noticed, I am a damn hardcore carnivore. There are so many different spice flavors and they're all fantastic, and you can use them for so many different applications like chicken and pork ribs on the barbecue. I have even made multiple kinds of salamis using these seasonings. In this case, Hardcore Carnivore Black, which uses activated charcoal, which won a second place overall in a national charcuterie competition. So guys, I highly recommend after this video, go to Hardcore Carnivore website and check out their awesome seasonings and merchandise. Let's get into how I make it.
Okay, so this seasoning mix has a good amount of salt in it already, so I've calculated and measured the amount of salt in the seasoning mix to allow room for additional salts like sodium nitrite and baking soda to create a balanced and super flavorful sausage. Along with the salts, I have this FRM52 bacteria culture blooming in distilled water and dextrose to help ferment this venison summer sausage, also crushed ice to help make a juicier, more tender texture, and to help keep things cool while being emulsified in the food processor.
Guys, I'll be honest, this is not a classic or typical style venison summer sausage. It's kind of a cross between a venison summer sausage and a New Jersey like Taylor ham or pork roll. So it's got the flavors of a summer sausage, but it's going to be processed in the style of a pork roll. Hybrid? Let's get back to it.
Okay, for the meats, I have lean venison harvested here in Maryland, and fatty pork shoulder, and just a bit more ground pork back fat, because fat is so yummy. Okay, so I'm going to put everything in at the same time and puree the meat until it looks nice and emulsified. Like this. Alright, to stuff, I put everything in the stuffing container and try to smooth it out as much as possible to mitigate extra air bubbles. I like to use a 20-inch piece of butcher's twine to tie it off after stuffing. And to stuff, I'm going to be using this fibrous 88mm casing. To control how packed the casing is, I use my pointer finger and thumb to pinch and release pressure at the end of the stuffing tube, like so. And then I like to twist the extra casing to make the chub real nice and tight, then tightly wrap the twine around the base to create an even tighter seal, then finally finish off with a bubble knot by folding over the extra casing, helping keep everything nice and tight through the curing and cooking process. Oh yeah, now that's a beautiful, tightly packed chub right there. Okay, to ferment, I hang it from my dry storage rack with a food-grade plastic bag around it. This helps keep it nice and humid on the inside and helps fermentation along. The fermentation shouldn't take more than 24 hours with this bacteria culture that I've inoculated it with. Pro tip, a good use of the leftover meat inside the stuffing tube and at the bottom of the stuffer is to make a small chub to test the pH of the mix when ready instead of poking a hole in the actual chub itself. Another small tip, to extract the meat in the stuffing tube, I will just take a piece of paper towel and push it through with the smaller stuffing tube. Then simply wrap it up and place it next to the larger chub to ferment as well. It's 18 hours later, and I look for 3 things when fermenting meats. 1. Color change to a brighter pink. 2. A more dense and firm feel. And 3. A smell of fermentation. With a properly calibrated pH meter, I'm going to test this little chub for the pH. It's at 4.9 pH, which will be plenty of tang and fermenty flavor. So for a quick recap, at a raw, unadulterated state, the venison had a pH of 5.5, and the pork meat had a pH of 5.9, which after mixed together, the pH was 5.7. After 18 hours of fermentation, the pH of the sausage dropped to 4.9 pH. This is quite a significant change in the flavor profile. Okay, back to it. To cook this bad boy, I'm going to be using this Taylor thermometer to gauge the internal temp of the chub. I will also place this chub in a food-grade plastic bag to keep separate from the water while cooking in the water bath. I will set the immersion circulator at 155 degrees until the chub has reached 145 degrees internal temperature. Once the internal temp has reached 145 degrees, I let it stay there for another 30 minutes, which should at that point pasteurize the summer sausage. After it comes out of the water bath, I let it chill in the refrigerator for 24 hours to let it set up before cutting into it. Well, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. The aroma is deliciously powerful. I can't wait to try it. Let's see how a few slices come off the slicer. Sheesh, look how consistent these came out. Pliable, but also firm. It's time to cook a venison summer sausage roll. The classic main ingredients here are going to be a little black pepper, butter, ketchup, scrambled eggs, the meats, American cheese, and a Kaiser roll. Pro tip, snipping the summer sausage will prevent the meat from cupping up so that it will lay flat on the bread after cooking. Then fold the cheese squares into the eggs for a melty, cheesy middle. Okay, to build the sandwich, I spread the ketchup on each side of the bun. Then lay the beautifully crispy pieces of venison summer sausage down. Then the ooey gooey eggs on top, then sprinkle a little black pepper, and then put the top on. Okay, let's cut into this sexy sandwich. Tell me you don't want to dive right into this. Wow. Leg it up, scribe it up, scribe it up, scribe it up.
What do you think, baby? You want to smell the spice rub? Ooh, I like that one. Smells good, right? Yes, Daddy, I am just a little hardcore carnivore.